Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Alif Bramantewaan. Today I will present my research on the role of P2P lending and crowdfunding in realizing gender equality, economic growth, and innovation. We all know that financial technology or fintech has grown rapidly, but often people only see it as a tool for payment or a way to get quick cash. In this research, I want to shift that perspective. I want to show you that fintech is actually a strategic tool to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs. Specifically, I'm looking at two types of fintech. The first is P2P lending, which connects lenders and borrowers directly, and the second is crowdfunding, which gathers funds from many people for a project. Why are these two important? Because they solve a major problem in our traditional banking system. Many individual and small businesses like UMKM are what we call unbankable. They cannot get loans from banks because of strict requirements. This research focuses on how these digital tools help achieve three specific SDGs. SDGs 5, which is achieving gender equality, SDG 8, promoting decent work and economic growth, and SDG 9, fostering innovation. Let's look at the data on this slide. We are seeing a massive shift in consumer behavior in Indonesia. People are moving away from traditional banking methods to digital services because they offer speed and accessibility. Let's look at the numbers. In 2018, the outstanding P2P loans were only 5.04 trillion. Fast forward to February 2024, and that number has jumped over 61 trillion. And it is projected to reach nearly 87.5 trillion by mid 2025. But the most shocking fact is on the bottom left. Compare P2P lending with credit cards. P2P lending is growing at an average 59% per year. Credit cards, they are almost stagnant, growing only at 0.5% per year. In Indonesia, especially in rural areas, women face significant barriers to financial independence. First, they often lack collateral. They don't have land certificate or vehicle or ownership papers to pledge to a bank. Second, there's a strong gender bias. Many traditional institutions perceive women as high-risk borrowers. Third is the issue of low literacy and limited mobility. Many women in villages cannot simply travel to a city branch to fill out complicated forms. Because of these factors, what we call asymmetric information, banks are often afraid to lend to them. They don't know who these women are, so they assume the worst. Both SDG 8, economic growth, it works on two levels, micro and macro. At the micro level or UMKM, imagine a small shop owner when she gets a quick loan from P2P lending, she can buy more inventory. When she has more inventory, she sells more. Eventually, she needs to hire a neighbor to help her. This create jobs. There's a multiplier effect. When she spends money, the supplier gets money, the logistics driver gets money, the economic spends faster. At macro level, the impact is huge. A study mentioned in my paper found that a combination of digital payments and P2P lending can explain 88.58% of the variation in Indonesia's economic growth. Research from INDEF even estimates that P2P lending contributes about 16 trillion rupiah to the national economic turnover. One more critical point, during the COVID-19 pandemic, when banks stopped lending because of fear, P2P lending actually increased by 91%. It acted as a buffer that kept our small businesses alive during the crisis. Moving to SDG number 9, innovation. First, technological innovation. We have something called alternative credit scoring. In the old days, if you don't have a slip gaji or salary slip, you got no loan. Today, fintech uses AI or artificial intelligence. They analyze your digital footprint, your phone usage, and your e-commerce transaction, even your social interactions, to decide if you are trustworthy. This allows millions of unbankable people to financially get access to credit. Second, collaborative innovation. This is very interesting. Fintech companies are partnering with traditional institutions like rural banks or BPR or cooperatives. We call this channeling and executing. In channeling, the cooperative acts as an agent who knows the local and recommends them to the app. In executing, the cooperative borrows big money from the app and lends to their members. This combines the best of both worlds, the high-tech system of fintech and the local touch of traditional cooperative. Despite all the benefits, there are still problems. The biggest problem for women in villages is digital literacy. They're afraid of complicated apps. They're afraid of pressing the wrong button. So as part of this research, I propose a solution using a user-centered design approach. I designed a application called Amartha Empower. This app is designed specifically for women with low literacy. I focus on simplicity, education, and community support. The key features of Amartha Empower. The first one is quick loan. The interface is very simple. They just use the amount and the duration. No confusing terms, no hidden menus. The second is financial learning. This is the most important part before or after getting a loan. Users can watch 1 minute videos about basic finance. For example, how to separate business money from kitchen money. This educates them while they use the app. Third is community chat. Women trust other women. These features allow them to share tips, ask questions, and even check schedules for online gathering. It builds a support system. The fourth feature is automatic reporting. Behind the scenes, they have records gender disaggregated data. This helps the government or OJK monitor how well we are supporting women. To summarize my presentation, fintech is more than just a business. It's a catalyst for development. For SDG 5, fintech destroyed the gender bias with a 99% repayment rate. Women have proven they are reliable, disciplined, and investment worthy. For SDG 8, P2P lending is a proven engine for growth, contributing significantly to our GDP and saving UMKM during crisis like the pandemic. For SDG number 9, innovations like AI scoring and bank collaboration are finally bridging the gap to the most remote villages in Indonesia. With solution like the Amasta Empower concept, we can assure that we are not just giving people money, but we are giving them to manage it. That concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for your time and attention.